Welcome back to our live show. Everything we do in our everyday lives impacts the future of life on Earth. With talks of a potential meat shortage as COVID-19 continues, what could this mean for our health and our economy? Jessica recently spoke with a representative from World Centric about this topic, and here's that conversation.
We've all seen the headlines about a potential for a meat shortage caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and sheltering in place. But some of those headlines may have had you thinking, how am I going to navigate? Did you consider that there could be some benefits to this being the scenario? Lauren Olson, with a zero waste manager for World Centric, joins us today. Lauren, it's very nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. It's one of those things where you see this headline and you think to yourself, to some degree, how will I navigate that, especially if meat is part of your diet and you're used to having this, on the plate and in the kitchen. But there actually could be some benefits that we're seeing to the meat shortage being ahead of us. And this is where you come in. This is something that is near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, meat requires a lot of environmental inputs in order to bring it into fruition. So from water, land, the carbon and methane that's emitted from animals, as well as the health factors. Eating meat is associated with, differing health outcomes. Now is a good time to maybe look at your habits and try to develop maybe more environmentally friendly habits or habits that are better for your health by reducing your meat intake. Even just one day a week can really have a huge benefit.
Isn't that interesting? It's part of that conversation that you think you've heard of, maybe meatless Mondays or Friday, you're skipping meat in a meal. We've talked about it over the years, certainly, but right now this is sort of propelling us to maybe explore that as a decision. From the environmental perspective, you mentioned a couple of things. The benefits there, we might already be starting to see.
Yeah, so livestock industry is actually about 18% of all of our greenhouse gas emissions. So that's more than air travel, ground travel, shipping, freight, all of that combined. So if we can reduce our meat intake, we can really have a good effect on mitigating climate change and helping with the environment. Additionally, if you don't eat meat for one day a week, you can save up to 6,000 gallons of water, 1,500 square feet of land, close to 1,200 kilograms of carbon. So it can really have a big effect on the environment, just even one day a week, switching to a meat-based alternative or beans or some other alternative source of protein.
So it might be during this time, as you're experiencing those shortages, that you would take this leap into exploring skipping a day a week and seeing some of those benefits. You mentioned that's pretty profound that the industry emits that much when you put it into perspective versus maybe the airline industry.
Yeah, I mean, airline industry, we have seen a huge effect on the environment from that, but that's about 2 to 3% of all greenhouse gas emissions are from air travel. So, the meat industry plays a large effect on the environment. Now is a good time to really reconsider all of this, sort of cheap meat that we've been seeing on the market and really think twice about maybe why it was so inexpensive in the past. And even though prices are increasing a little, really what that means in terms of the environment and the effects on the earth in terms of meat production.
And certainly if you look at it too from your own bottom line, you'll start to see a little bit of a difference there. And right now, again, we might be pushed out of our comfort zone as a shortage could be something that we're experiencing. Maybe not an overall shortage, but a limited availability.
Yeah, I've read articles that allude to maybe like different cuts of meat may not be available, like those that take more time to do and are more expensive, might not be available. And so people might have to go to different cuts, or they might not be able to find, their favorite type of meat available at the store, might have limits on it. But there's, so many meatless alternatives now available. on the shelf. It's really quite amazing. When I was first experimenting with vegan or vegetarian meals, even like 15 years ago, there really was not the variety that there is today. So there's no better time to really explore different alternatives, not only for the environment, for your bottom line, but also for your health. Eating meat is associated with high blood pressure, heart disease, heart attacks, high cholesterol. I think we've all had those friends or relatives that have had some sort of catastrophic health event, and we're told by their doctor to cut back on meat, particularly red meat. So I think we've all kind of seen the warning signs that maybe experimenting with vegetarian or vegan meals might be a good way to go, and no better time than now.
Well, that's plenty to consider, Lauren. Thank you for taking time today to talk us through. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great talking with Lauren, and we'll certainly include a link on our website later today, WTVR.com/VTM, so you can learn more about some of these considerations that Lauren explained.